Okay, to start off for Shen, I'm gonna show you my basic runes and masteries that I take during just about any laning phase I do at Shen. Now here you can see I have 9 armor at level 18 because I have 3 ceilings or scaling, and I have the physical damage red marks. I have the 12 magic resist. Don't ask why I have the 1.5 lifesteal quint. Just know it's a thing, and I had it for a long time, and I never decided to change it. I just always left it in my AD room page, and then I have the 2, attack damage quints. Just, my simple AD page, room page for playing any AD champ, whether it be AD carry, Shen, whatever. Now, when it comes to masteries for Shen, I usually do 12, 0, 18. In the first 12, I do All Fury, Double-Edged Sword. It seemed like a good idea to take Natural Talent because his abilities, well, his Q scales in AP, and so does his alt. But it's not really worth it because it doesn't scale off of that much AP, so taking Natural Talent really isn't worth it. So I take Vampirism and use the lifesteal, and then I take Oppressor because I like doing more damage. That little bit of increased damage early game after I use my taunt helps a lot. And then here I take Recovery and I take Explorer. I don't really take Tough Skin because I think it's like really pointless that you take 2 less damage from champions and neutral monsters. Like that's not a lot. Is really not. You could get Unyielding, but I prefer just the simple more health recovery over time, especially during those tougher champs in the top lane nowadays. I don't take Veteran Scars because having 45 health isn't that much. I'd rather get Runic Armor, where it helps with like items such as Spirit Visage or Warmogs, and I put all 5 points into that because Shen also has a shield, so that 8% shield is a little bit stronger. It definitely helps scaling into the late game. Here I usually you can go either or, but just for say you've been new to Shen and not fully understanding how this character works, I would take Insight because I usually take Insight just based on I want to be everywhere as much as possible, and that 15% on the already really long fucking cooldowns of Flash and Teleport, they are like so freaking long, and that 15% cooldown really helps. Now here I take a Swiftness. Sometimes you can take Legendary Guardian, which can be cool, for team fights, especially as a tank. I say only take this when the other team doesn't have a lot of hard CC, like maybe they're an all AD count with no CC at all. Okay, then Legendary Guardian is the better fit over Swiftness, but I actually take Swiftness because that 15% tenacity and slow resist is pretty nice. Now, unless you're a jungle Shen, you really should never take Strength of the Ages because a lot of it relies on either killing jungle monsters or getting those siege minions. And say you're in a really hard lane where it's really hard to get a siege minion, you're not putting this to use at all. Now, for the most part, I take Grass Speed Undying just because I'm usually fighting really extended fights, and that lifesteal is like really good for every auto attack, especially with your empowered kill. Or if you feel like you're not really good at winning lane so much and you kind of want to be on a more defensive end, especially against stronger opponents like Fiora, Darius, or Riven, I would say take Bond of Stone because that 4% damage reduction definitely makes a difference in the laning phase and can definitely keep you alive if you take in a more defensive stance in your lane. And now we're going to get into some actual gameplay of Shen, where I'm going to explain a little bit more about the champion, his skills, and what you should do. So see you in a little bit. Okay, now we have my good friend Sup No Hero here today, and he's going to be our own personal training dummy, where as I show you, the different types of ability uses as Shen. Now, Shen's abilities are pretty simple. He gains a barrier from any ability used, and his abilities are pretty easy to read. His Q empowers his auto attacks, pretty simple. And if the sword goes through an enemy champion, it gains, attack speed, and it does additional magic damage. W is a zone that stops all auto attacks coming into it as long as you sit in that little circle. And his E is a CC, a taunt for 1.5 seconds, and his alt shields allied targets, and his blade goes to wherever that ally is standing when the alt goes through. Alright, so for Shen, you want to poke and utilize your auto attacks as much as you can, especially with your Q. You always want to use your Q. Make sure you use the 3 stacks to their fullest, because every time you attack with those 3 stacks, you get energy back, and having energy on Shen is like having energy on any mage. You need that shit. And you always want to get in the best position for your sword. You want to pull that sword, make sure it goes through the enemy champion, so you can deal a lot more damage and utilize a lot more potion. Now your W, for somebody like Darius, I'm gonna have Sup No Hero attack me in a second, and I'll have my W up. And as you can see, it blocks auto attacks just like that. No bleed stacks, no nothing coming through, except for the times he auto attacked me. And then his E is a simple, taunt CC. The enemy follows you wherever you go for 1.5 seconds. Simple. Now, combos with Shen, I'll show you here in just a second as my E comes off a cooldown. Combos are pretty simple. You want to make sure, first off, just realize, always keep eyes on your sword, because that sword placement is key with any fight. So, say I pull my sword through first, I get the extra damage, and, Darius is moving around a little bit. So, if he's moving around a little bit and I want to, get better sword placement, I'll E first, get the taunt, pull my shield through, and then because the taunt, he recovers energy and deals damage at the same time. His E used to reduce the damage coming in, but generally after the taunt, I'll end up activating my W. So while they're attacking me, I basically win the trade, because I'm blocking all auto attacks coming in. They can't use any abilities while taunted unless it's like a cleanse or something that stops the CC from the dash. But they can't use any abilities. The only thing they can do while taunted is auto attack, which is why using that W after you taunt and pull Q through is essential, because it ensures you win a trade, especially against somebody like Fiora. So in a second, we're just going to show you a small, Shen ulti, what he does. Oh, Lux going at it. And we're just going to have, a situation where Lux is getting her ass beat by Darius. She's dying. So, I'm going to ult his Shen, and my ult goes through. As you can see, the shield fell exactly to where Lux was before she died. And now I'm gonna die. So, things to keep in mind when playing Shen is...
Stop attacking! No.
In my opinion, when I play Shen, I always look for, opportunities in that ulting which person is going to put me in the best position. So if I see the jungler ulting, like if I see the jungler going in on bot lane, I'll end up ulting the jungler over the AD carry unless there's like a counter gank or the AD carry is really close to dying, and then he takes priority over the jungler. But if that's not the case, and let's say we want a 4-man gank bot, I'll ult the jungler who will be in the best position of me getting a taunt after I ultimate, or by blah blah blah. That's my priority list. Or if mid lane's about to die to like ignite or a dot, and bot lane isn't really fighting, they're kind of farming, then mid lane gets priority. In team fights, I tend to prioritize which of my carries are going to die first. So say if I'm fighting in a team fight and things are getting kind of hectic, I don't need to ult immediately, but I can kind of peel back and keep fighting and deal out damage against their carries, or peel for my ADC up until the point where, let's say, my carry is getting ulted by Zed, then I'll ult whoever gets ulted by Zed because that makes the most sense. And as far as anything else when it comes out, that's about it. I use my ult just solely to apply lots of global pressure as Shen, so when I ult, I can get my bot lane a double kill, and before my tower takes any damage, I can immediately TP top, which is why I have the teleport. Well, I have the 15% CDR from masteries on my teleport and flash, because I want to be everywhere as much as I possibly can. So that includes getting, sometimes I might get the boots of lucidity just because of the 10% summer spell cooldown. Also with the distortion enchantment, and you combine all three of those from the mastery, the boots, and distortion, get a teleport and flash on a 3-minute cooldown, which is really fucking short for trying to be wherever you want whenever you want. The next thing I'm gonna go into is strengths and weaknesses. Strengths of Shen: he has a ton of freaking global pressure. He can be just about anywhere he wants to be, and he has a lot of counterplay for really strong champions like Riven, Fiora. Not so much Darius. Darius wins the matchup over Shen, in my opinion, and because most of his champs have like auto attack abilities, so a champ like Olaf that relies on auto attacks or Jax, your W helps you out a lot. Weaknesses with Shen come more so like if there's a Darius or anything else, he can get like pooped on really easily if there's like a strong lane, if he has a strong lane opponent. Other weaknesses, everything besides his Q and E are on really long cooldowns. As you can see, his level 1 ult is 3 minutes by itself with no CDR. His other two abilities, his W and E, are on 18-second cooldowns, which really suck for the game in general, because allocating one over the other after you max Q first can be difficult, because you have to understand what the enemy team has to offer. So I say if the enemy team has like a Yi or a really strong Tristana, I would max my W, because I want to block as many auto attacks in as little as time and as much time as possible, rather than landing the initial CC. So when you do one or the other, you have to be careful and realize that, hey, if I fuck up one of these other abilities, it could cost my team a lot, because I don't have it for another 15 seconds. And it's really important that I put myself in the best position to land one of those abilities. or if I feel like there's not a lot of auto attack, or I need to like be peely as much as I can for my AD carries and land as much CC as I can, I should max E over that, because I want to land as many times as I can and put my team in the best position of winning the team fight that much easier. So you have to realize, just look at what the enemy team has to offer, make the best decision possible, and keep in mind that one of your abilities is on a really long cooldown, and that you have to put yourself in the best position when playing Shen to use that ability because of that really long cooldown. And the last thing I'll go over is builds typically for Shen.